And now your reserve of the Charlotte Rollin Hornets. Number 30, Anna Donahue. Number 44, Leah O'Reilly.
Turn them around, guys. Turn around. There you go. They're not used to this.
No, they're not.
They're like freaking out.
And now your starter, number 1, Adam Smith. Number 3, Landon Benton. Number 14, the series proceed, Ashton. Number 23, Preston Howell. And number 35, Julian Rodriguez.
All right, you're going to have to
The
help.
Hornets are coached by Mike Dodson and Preston Howell. Let's shake hands, everyone.
All right, shake your hands, guys.
These prep kids are like big. Like I think they're like bigger than a lot of the others.
And now, please, if you can rise to the playing of our national anthem.
With the playing of our national anthem, we are ready for the Prep Championship here at the 2018 National Wheelchair Basketball Tournament. I, again, is Curtis Lees bringing you action here with my colleague and former fellow Illini grad,
That's right.
Emily Hoskins. Emily, welcome.
Yeah, this is gonna be. I'm excited. I don't get to see a lot of prep games, so it's cool to be a part of this and be able to call this championship game here.
So we'll go through some of the differences between the 10-foot divisions or the varsity and NIT like we just saw and the prep division as the game goes along. The matchup today is going to feature the #1 ranked Charlotte Rollin Hornets, purple, against the Minnesota Rollin Rowdies. And I apologize about that. The Minnesota Rollin Rowdies are your #1 seed. The Charlotte Rollin Hornets, purple, are your #3. The Hornets defeated the Lincoln Way Hawks to get here. We're about to set ready for action. And the tip controlled by Charlotte. #3, Landon Benton, pushes things up. Controls things on the left side. Drops it off to.
Nah, it's a loud gym in here. We got a lot of families, parents, and things. Charlotte has a big cheering section, so it's going to be a very ruckus crowd, I think, for this game.
Preston Howell, the fourth, moving the ball for Charlotte. There is no shot clock in the prep division. Howell lets it go,
rebound.
misses it, but number 3 is there for the rebound. Landon Benson puts it in for Charlotte to give them the early lead. Looked like the assist there from Absher, who got the rebound and got it over to Benton, and Bennett put it in and give Charlotte the early 2-point lead. Dale with the ball for Minnesota. Minnesota, number 5. That's Jack Binsfeld. Binfeld gets it to number 22. That's Aiden Grable. Aiden Gravel ties the game, and we're tied at 2 here early, first half. Again, say there's no shot clock in the prep division, so how can that be used to an advantage for the team?
Definitely, it gives them more time to work as a team and let plays develop. You know, more times to set those picks and rolls. And, you know, there are a couple other differences as well. The biggest one being that the prep division plays at an 8.5-foot basket as opposed to varsity and any, you know, adult teams that play at the 10-foot. They also play with a ball that's a little bit smaller in size, too. The prep division, kids have to be 13 or younger. And really it's, you know, for some of these kids that are real young, you know, a lot of them are real little guys, little gals. And, you know, a lot of these kids will go on and play varsity, but at such a young age, prep is a great start for many of these players.
And big Aiden Gravel there, one of the taller kids out there on the floor. He gets the second bucket, a 4-2 lead now for Minnesota. He looks like a force to stop inside. Howell takes it to the baseline.
Ooh, bouncing around.
Howell says that shot clock, no shot clock. I'm taking it when I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like we have a foul on the floor. Foul's on number 14. Sadie Absher picks up her first, team first. Minnesota with a 2-point lead and the ball.
This number 5 on Minnesota. He moves the ball really well.
Binsfield dumps it inside to the other big man. That is number 35, David Pettit. It does seem like Minnesota, maybe that's the reason. There's a reason they're ranked number 1.
Yes, yeah.
Having an early 6-2 advantage, Minnesota. Coach Mike Godsey and the Charlotte Rollin Hornets, let's get together, let's talk this over and stop this run.
You know, one thing that's really cool, and I'm glad to be here and taking part in this. You mentioned we are both Illinois alum. I also was on the U.S. Paralympic team from 2003 to 2010, and a member of the teams that took gold in 2004 in Athens, and then again in Beijing in 2008. But the really cool thing is I actually started with prep. I started playing and played prep for a couple years, moved up to varsity, and then on to college and on to international and women's ball from there. But I think it's cool because you can see these kids, you know, that some of these kids might have that in their future, that similar career, you know. And it's really cool getting to see them at such a young age start out at prep and really building that foundation for where this sport's going to take these kids.
So truly prep is the foundation of the future for the sport.
Absolutely.
Charlotte down 4. And Benton will get it to Preston Howell. Howell surveys things, takes it down the left-hand side. And looks like we had another foul called. I'm not quite sure what the call was. There's a clock. The clock didn't start there. So Charlotte will inbound the ball again. This time gets it into, that's Absher. Sadie Absher gets it back to Howell. Howell spins. Taking his time. Howell seems to be the main ball handler for Charlotte.
Yeah.
Looking for a screen.
Oh, good
gets it
little
up.
seal there.
Misses, but number 52, that's Ben Covington. Can't get the rebound. It looks like his last touch by Charlotte. Number 3, Landon Benton. Definitely in team spirit there with the hair matching his jersey. Minnesota brings it down. That's number 10, Nick Dale. Handling the ball. Dale will let it fly.
Oh, a nice little bank
That
shot.
brought to you by PNC Bank. Nick Dale on the board. We have an 8-2 lead for Minnesota. Now, we play halves or quarters in the prep?
We play quarters. 8-minute quarters.
8-minute quarters here as Howell again's on the left side baseline. Seems to be their main ball handler and main shooter. That one does not go. Rebound by Pettit. And here come the Minnesota Rollin Rowdies. Binsfield looking for someone to pass it into. Gets around Pettit. Out to Deo. Deo lines it up, lets it fly,
Ooh,
does
in and out.
not hit it. Julian Rodriguez with the rebound for Charlotte. Back in the hands of Preston Howell, and here comes Charlotte moving left to right. And we have a foul on the floor. Foul's on number 10, Nick Deo. That's his first, team first. They said he backed in, he didn't quite have position.
Yeah. He needed to just turn his chair a little earlier.
Charlotte will reset. Howell move to the right side. Light pressure. Howell pushing the ball. Takes it all the way around.
Man, I'll tell you these prep teams are honestly playing at a level that I was not expecting. Both of these teams look very strong. You can tell the level of the game has changed so much.
Well, and the reason they're in the championship game.
That's correct. Yeah.
You have some prep teams like, is it really a development?
Absolutely.
Missed a shot, and that was, trying to see the number here. That was Covington with the rebound. You see, I see some of the other prep games. And a steal by Charlotte.
All right.
Ball ends up in the hand of Howell, going back the other way. I say the developmental level of prep. Some games are a little bit slower than others.
Sure.
This one seems to be obviously two of the stronger prep teams, two of the strongest prep teams
Yeah.
for the year.
Well, and in the junior division as a whole, prep and varsity, it's changed so much over the last few years. The level of play across the board has just been elevated so much.
Minnesota on the breakaway. Number 22 puts it up. Little strong.
Oh, man.
Rebound. Charlotte once again finds Preston Howell, finds the ball in his lap and heads back the other way. Seems that Minnesota has a little bit better team balance, which could be contributing to their early 6-point lead.
Another foul called.
That's a second foul on Nick Deo.
All right, man. He better be careful.
Interesting to see what the coach does here with 2 early fouls for Deo. Number 3 puts it up, gets it to drop.
That was a
Landon
nice
Benton.
shot.
Benton gets Charlotte back to within 4. 8-4, first quarter action here at the Prep Division Championship to the 2018 National Wheelchair Basketball Tournament. This webcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Shot goes up and in.
Nice little shot.
That's
there.
number 5, Jack Binsfeld. And lead back to 6 for the Rollin Rowdies.
You know, another difference with the prep and varsity, this year varsity for the first time implemented a classification system. A little different from the adults. We went with a J1 and J2. So any kids that are a 2.5 or under are classified as a J1, and anybody above that is classified as a J2. Prep does not have the classification system. You know, maybe a few years, though, we'll see that change.
As Preston Howell drained one there right before the buzzer, and that's the end of the first quarter. We have Minnesota Rollin Rowdies 10, Charlotte Rollin Hornets 6. We'll be right back. Getting set to go with second quarter action of the Prep Championship games from the 2018 National Wheelchair Basketball Tournament. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors here, PNC Bank, Kentucky One Health, and the Fraser Rehab Institute, ResCare, Performex Wheelchairs, and Molten, the official ball of the NWBA, as well as thank T-Mobile for providing this webcast here today. Alternate possessions, Minnesota will start with the ball and the lead. And Emily, tell us again, a little more again, so there's no classification system, so no matter what your disability level, you can have 5 amputees out there or 5 spinal cord injuries, or however that, whatever you got.
Well, you know, in wheelchair basketball, there's so many different types of disabilities that the athletes have. You know, like you said, amputees, kids with cerebral palsy, you know, spina bifida, spinal cord injuries. And so in the higher, you know, varsity and above, the classification system is really implemented to make it more fair across the board. You know, consider if you had a team of all single amputees playing a team of all spinal cord injuries, there's going to be a little bit of an advantage there. So we have in the classification system where athletes are classified. In the adult division, it's a class 1.0 all the way up to 4.5 in increments of 5. And you cannot have more than 14 points on the court at any given time.
Well, right now, Pettit and Minnesota are using their height advantage. He got in the lane again for a shot, and they had a turnover down there on the other end. Looked like somebody might have went out of bounds with the ball. Minnesota up 6 with the ball, and that's number 22, Aiden Gravel. Survey gets it back to Binsfeld. Loose ball recovered by number 42, Michael Allen. Allen drives it on the wing. He's looking for someone to pass to. Gets it out to Binsfeld. Binsfeld will let fly. A little short. Able to get his own rebound, and Minnesota will reset.
Oh, no.
Loose ball. And it will go Charlotte's way. I believe Gravel was down inside the paint, and Binsfeld wanted to get it to him, but not able to do so. And here comes Preston Howell and the Charlotte Rollin Hornets going the other way. Howell takes it down on the left side, which he tends to do. Cuts back to the middle, spins back, goes left, goes right. Looking to get some space so he can square up. I think he sees what he likes. Puts it up, puts it in. Preston Howell.
Nice little shot by Preston.
Cuts the lead to 4. But saying again, if a team can't get too reliant on one player, because if that one player is having a bad game,
absolutely,
then the team suffers. So Minnesota seems so far, at least, to have a more balanced attack.
I coach a varsity team back in Nashville, Tennessee, and you know, one thing I always tell my kids is You know, you win as a team, you lose as a team. You know, no one player is ever going to win a game for you. You do it together.
Adam Smith had the steal there, but was right along the baseline. He can't believe it. He's like, I had to steal. This is the wrong spot. Not quite enough room there on the over the sideline. End of the game for Minnesota, number 12, Mackenzie Groth. Gravel has it, gets it back to Binsfeld. Binsfeld up top to Pettit.
One thing that I get really excited about within the junior division, both varsity and prep, and I love seeing these girls. You know, I love seeing female athletes on the court. And you know, when I was playing juniors, some team, you know, if you had one or two girls, that seemed like a lot. And now you're seeing more and more of these girls playing. It's so awesome. I'm all about some female ballers.
Right there looked like Minnesota again using Covington now, exploiting the height advantage that they have. Howell takes the ball around the side, triples around the top again. Just kind of everybody seems to be setting the screens for Howell and letting him do what he wants.
I think Charlotte, you know, maybe moving around a little more, trying to set some more picks. There we go. Now they're trying to set some picks there. And you know, right here, this possession is an example of kind of that difference, like you were saying, Curtis. When there's not a shot clock, it can make the game look a lot different.
And Preston Howell puts it in.
It's good patience by Preston, really, you know, working and waiting till he felt like he had a good shot, and look what it got him.
And if the ball in his hands, he feels confident with the ball in the hands.
Absolutely.
Rather than risk passing the ball, possibly a turnover. And so it's working for Charlotte. And that time after gets the steal, right back to Howell, and here comes Charlotte. Down only 4.
Oh.
Howell dribbles the ball up top. He dribbles around Julian Rodriguez. And back the other way. Gets it inside. That's Denton. A little long, but he gets his own rebound. Puts it back up. Off again. Julian Rodriguez.
Oh, nice.
With the rebound and puts it back in.
Yeah, good little rebound and bucket there.
And I think that's what Charlotte needs. That time, Howell did dump it off to his big man inside, and that time they had the size position. Able to capitalize. Julian Rodriguez on the board. 14-12. Gravel inside doesn't get it. Benton with the rebound. Landon Benton pulls it down, gets it back to Howell. And here comes Charlotte looking to tie.
You know, and both these teams come from such strong programs.
Nice ball movement there. They're not quite able to capitalize. Absher seemed to have position, but felt maybe a little too far into the basket and got it back out to Benton. His shot just didn't fall. Now Binsfield controls for Minnesota. Tries to get the pass and deflected. And that's number 1, ends up with a Madam Smith.
Oh!
And what do we got here?
They called it a Charlotte's ball because there's a no press rule in prep.
Gotcha. So Charlotte will retain possession. Prep.
And I don't know that Minnesota necessarily meant to prep. I think, meant to press. I think she saw a loose ball and was just going for it, just as any athlete would.
And Mackenzie's like, hey, it's a loose ball. Why can't I go get it?
Exactly, yeah. I would have done the same.
Back comes Charlotte again, looking for a tie. Howell puts it up, a little off, and that's big man Pettit with the rebound and kicks it back out for Minnesota. Number 10, Nick Deo, back in the game with 2 fouls. Mackenzie Groth did a nice job. The time Deo sees Pettit. Pettit banks it in and out. Deo with the rebound. Last touch by Deo. Going to Charlotte. Charlotte, another possession here, looking to tie the game. Do they have 3-pointers in prep?
That is a wonderful question. Let's see. I'm having to refer to my. Yeah, they do. Having to refer to my rule book here. Yes, they do have 3-pointers.
Hey, in some rules, I mean, just rules overall change, and then so it is sometimes kind of tough to keep it up from prep to varsity to women's to open division,
Yeah.
college. A lot of them have their own little changes for each division. Minnesota ends up with the steal. Have the ball down on the right side. That's Deo. Deo puts up from the baseline. Long. Julian Rodriguez finds the rebound. And one more time, Charlotte looking to tie this game up. Scoring's kind of slowed down here a little bit. Howell pushes it on the right side. Puts it up. Puts it in.
Nice shot.
We got and you can kind of see here the crowd. You know, don't tell these people that there's, you know, they know what's on the line here. It's a national championship.
And you know, any team, whether it prep all the way up to D1, you know, teams come here. They come here to win it. You know, they're gonna give it their best shot. These teams did not come to lose.
Deo from the baseline gives Minnesota the lead back. Howell pushes it up for Charlotte. Porter winding down. Gets it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez spins. Can't quite get it up. And that's the end of the second quarter.
Into halftime.
We got halftime. I know you can tell Howell wanted to get that shot up before halftime, but Minnesota did a good job coming out to meet him, and they were not able to get a shot up.
They did, defending him hard so he couldn't get that last second shot.
So we have halftime here. The Prep Championship game, 2018 National Wheelchair Basketball Tournament. The Minnesota Rollin Rowdies, the #1 seed, hanging on to a 2-point lead over the #3 Charlotte Rollin Hornets. We'll be back for the second half action.
All right, we're getting ready to start the second half here.
Second half action. What's been a hotly contested 2-point game. Prep Division National Championship on the line. Minnesota with a 2-point lead. Charlotte, you're looking to tie it up here right up. They say, at least I know in most divisions of basketball, the first 5 minutes of the second half can sometimes set the tone.
Yeah.
You think that's the same in prep?
Yeah. You know, teams got to come out with that mentality that you know, there's 20 more minutes left. Who's going to play all the way to the end? And the way this game's been going so far, I think this is going to come down to the end. I think this is going to be a battle all the way to the end for these two teams.
Preston Howell looking to tie the game right off the bat here in the second half. A little bit long. The ball is loose ball, tied up. They call it a jump ball, which alternate possession will give the ball to Minnesota. Minnesota 2-point lead in the ball. And that's Nick Deo on the left-hand side. Drops it in to his teammate, a little short.
It's a really nice little pick and roll on Minnesota. They didn't get the bucket, unfortunately, but you know, it's always good when you see, especially these younger kids, when you see those fundamentals being done so well.
I believe that was gravel. Loose ball hits off his wheel. I guess it was tipped. It was tipped by Minnesota, so Charlotte will keep possession. Once again, Howell. Ball kind of ends up in the lap of Adam Smith. Smith says, I'll take the shot, and misses it. Covington there for the rebound. And back comes Minnesota. Ball in the hand of Jack Binsfeld. The Rollin Rowdies moving left to right. Back out to Deo on the side. Deo puts it up. In and out. Number 22 has the rebound. Puts it back in.
Nice.
Aiden Gravel with the follow-up. 4-point lead for Minnesota. Interesting to see how closely coach for the Minnesota team will monitor Deo's foul. He did get 2 quick fouls in the first quarter and spent some time on the bench. I know they want to have him out there.
And you know, fouls can make or break a team. You know, if one of your key players gets into some foul trouble, it can change the course of a game for a team, certainly.
Wouldn't surprise me if he picks up his third. Coach Dordell will have him come join him on the sidelines here for a little bit. Aggressive defense. Howell's patient, puts it up, misses it. Covington with the rebound, and Dale's got the ball. Heading back the other way for Minnesota. Dale is stopped there. Gets to the Binsfeld. Binsfeld and Deo both capable ball handlers there, it looks like, whereas Charlotte, everything's in Howell's hands. Aiden down low, puts it up, puts it in.
That's nice by 22.
Aiden Gravel with his second bucket of the second half. The assist there to Binsfeld, I believe. Howell brings it down, puts the move.
It's a nice little move by Preston.
Preston banks it in. Doing his best to keep the Charlotte Rollin Hornets in this game. Now down 4 points, 20-16. Rowdies. Dale moving the ball around the left side. Kicks it back out to Binsfeld. Binsfeld back out to Deo.
Nice little hook pass there.
Deo lets it go, a little long. Battle for the rebound. We have, I believe, a foul called. Number 52, Ben Covington, his first foul. Team's first here in the second half.
You know, one thing that's been cool this tournament, you know, there's been adult games going on all weekend, except today, it's just junior teams. So in the building now, we got junior athletes and their families. All the adult games have finished, but a lot of young players in the gym today.
Still more people than you'll find typically on a Sunday morning game for for wheelchair basketball. There looks like there was a foul called. Number 35, that's David Pettit's first foul, team's second. Preston Howell, the fourth, will go to line, shooting. And in. I think Preston takes some time practicing his free throw shots.
I think so.
I think Preston spends a lot of time on a basketball court, period. Quickly shot, rebound to Minnesota. Deo with the ball, pushing it back. Deo kicks it out to Binsfeld. Back to Deo. Pressure there by number 14,
They are. They're
Sadie
pressuring
Absher.
high. Charlotte is trying to stop him from getting any more shots off.
That's Gravel down low. Pressure defense by Charlotte. And Julian Rodriguez with the rebound. Like I said, there's no press, but once they cross the half court line, they can
Correct.
press
Yes.
all the way up
Once
there.
they cross half court, all bets are off.
Absher all alone. Puts
All
it up, puts it in.
right.
Preston Howell with the assist. But I think that's what Charlotte needs, a little more of that contribution from some of the other
I
players on the
think
team.
so, yeah. And you could tell the crowd is really getting into that one, watching another of their team score.
And Preston, obviously the leader of the Charlotte team, but it doesn't have to, just like that. He got the assist. He's the one that set her up for that, so he didn't have to
Exactly.
score all the points, hold the ball all the time.
Wow, nice shot by number 10. Some of these kids are really impressing me with their shooting. I just, again, I love seeing these young players that have such bright futures ahead of them.
Deo with the shot there for Minnesota. We've got a tight game here, third quarter action. Prep Division National Championship. Webcast brought to you by T-Mobile. That's Howell. Puts it up, puts it in. Preston Howell, the fourth. Strong contingent here from Charlotte. Three-point lead. Pettit inside. Uses his heights. Doesn't fall. Loose ball.
Oh, there we go, fighting for that ball.
Landon Benson with the rebound that time. Howell puts it
nice
up on the
little
left
pick.
side. Puts it up. Gets it. Tried to get it to Rodriguez. A little bit short on the pass. Out of bounds. Minnesota. Deo will bring the ball up. Deo and Bensfeld, backcourt for Minnesota. And we got a timeout here. A little 5-point swing. The Hornets now in a 3-point lead, 23-20.
You know, Curtis, we before the game started, you and I were talking, and both of us were disabled very young, and both of us did not really know about adaptive sports until we were older. I was 14. I had been disabled my entire life, and I was 14 when I learned that wheelchair basketball was a thing. And so, thinking back on that, all those years that I could have been playing at a much younger age, I love seeing these young kids getting in this game and having these experiences early on.
Yeah, for myself, you at least had some prep or some junior division experience. I had 18 at the University of Illinois before I ever even thought about, the wheelchair basketball or the world of adaptive sports. So I know I served on the junior division board for a while. You are now currently serving. So it is important, I think, to give back as we get older.
Absolutely.
And hopefully these kids follow not only in our footstep on the court, but also off the court and bring them through the next generation after them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Dr. Tim Nugent was really, that was a big thing for him, that idea of paying it forward both with the University of Illinois and the NWBA in general.
Deo has the ball now for Minnesota. And we got a score correction here on the screen. Steal by Absher. And Howell has it on the wing.
Well, they're really applying some pressure on on Preston. I think they are trying to force him to get rid of that ball.
That might have been something that Coach Godsey was talking about during the timeout break. Loose ball. Absher gathers it. Loose ball. It'll stay with Charlotte. We do have apologize, we do have a score correction. It is Minnesota right now with a 1-point lead. Charlotte looking to take the lead here. Adam Smith inbounds the ball. He's got to get it in, and they get the timeout call before the 5-second violation.
Coach Godsey kind of forced to call that timeout. The inbounder really didn't have anybody open to pass to, so rather than get a turnover, he used his timeout. It was a wise decision.
Going through some of our other sponsors here that you can see across the way. Top End Performance Wheelchairs, Spinergy Wheels, Able Now, Nike, which is always great to have on board, and ABC Medical, Adapt, Believe, Complete. Also T-Mobile for bringing this webcast to you today. And I don't know about you, but the Spinergy, as you can see, most all the tires now are using Spinergy wheels or the composite spokes. I went through so many spokes coming up when they had some metal steel spokes. You know, you had a lot of them had people who had the spoke guards.
Oh yeah, I remember those days. I remember being in high school and decorating my spoke guards with all kinds of band stickers and different things, and yeah.
I remember getting this weekend. Jason Van Beek was inducted into the NWBA Hall of Fame. I played against Jason all 4 years in college, and I remember playing him and many other big guys, and you know, sometimes chairs get together. I look down, I have 3 or 4 spokes.
Oh yeah,
just gone,
just destroyed. Yeah.
Charlotte now again looking to take the lead here. Howell dribbles it up across the top, looking for that opening so he can get squared up. And the team really works well to kind of set him up for that shot. And like I said, no shot clock, so he can take his time as much as he wants to until he sees it. Minnesota doing a good job of keeping them out top. And
he
that's
needs
the thing
to look
right there.
up.
Finally
there we
sees her.
go. Yeah, sees his teammate.
Up and in. Sadie Absher with her second bucket. And that's the thing. Preston, obviously the leader, the ball handler for Charlotte, but you got to keep your head up.
Absolutely. Well, and you know, I think a lot of that too is some of these kids are young. You know, a lot of that maturity as they get older, understanding that they don't have to necessarily do everything themselves. They can rely on their teammates to also be there.
That was Deo trying to hit that 3-pointer right before the buzzer here at the third quarter. 1 quarter to go. There's a 1-point difference here. This again, man. This is a
game. We got a game here, folks.
I don't care if these are there's a prep division. I'm excited here. It's competition. 1-point game. We'll take a little break and be back for fourth quarter action.
All right, fourth quarter. Sorry, we're both trying to say that.
Let's say you can see the Charlotte fans out there really getting into it, letting them know that there's a 1-point game here. Prep national title, the prep division here on the line. Once again, Howell with the ball. 1.8 minutes left.
kind of
Let's see how
championship game you want to see. You don't want to see teams. It's not fun to see teams get blown out. You want to see teams going, bucket for bucket.
Rodriguez up
All
and in.
right.
Julian Rodriguez, and again the assist to Preston Howell. And the assist sometimes just as important as the basket. Charlotte with a 3-point lead. Early fourth quarter action. Minnesota, see what they have to answer. Binsfeld works on the left side. Binsfeld shoots that short. Rebound ends up, looked like Benton got the rebound, quickly got it in the hands of their ball handler, Preston Howell.
I like seeing down here on the end line, you see the Charlotte varsity team. All those kids came out to support their prep teammates. I love seeing that. Yeah, girl. She hanging on, getting fouled and getting hammered. She was strong with the ball. Again, I'm all about some female toughness. I love to see that.
22, Aiden Gravel with his first foul, team third. I was talking with someone from Charlotte. They said their program overall has 6 teams.
Yeah.
If you include junior and adults. And that's, like I said, that's great to see.
Such a strong program.
Denton puts it up. Doesn't go in, but is going to get the foul called. That's number 10, Nick Dale, picks up his third. Team fourth. That'll be Landon Benton in his glorious hair, shooting 2. And this might be something that Minnesota will be paying attention to later on. As he does get the second one to bank in, that could be a big basket down the line.
Absolutely. Those free throws, man, those are easy buckets. You wanna sink those.
Down in the game, Minnesota, as it comes down, might want to start thinking about fouling people to put Charlotte on the line. And definitely Howell's not the guy that you want on the line. So.
Right. And again, just as I mentioned earlier, fouls can make or break a game for a team. Free throws are the same way.
Deo makes up for the foul and hits the bucket. And we've got a 2-point game. The Charlotte Hornets lead by 2 with the ball. Obviously, we're not into a foul situation yet. Minnesota with 4 team fouls. Charlotte with no team fouls here in the second half yet. Gravel pressured Howell. Howell dribbles it back around, gets around Rodriguez.
And I think I'm right here. Charlotte hasn't really played any of their subs. The 5 players that are on the court right now have been on the court pretty much the whole game.
Preston gets it into Denton. Denton, either side, gets it up. It's it in. Landon Benton. Big shot right there. And I think every time a Landon Benton or a Sadie Absher hits those shots, that's got to give Preston a little more confidence in his teammates to get the ball out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deo puts on the left, back out to Binsfeld. Binsfeld back to Deo.
They're really going to want to shut down Deo there. He's a very strong shooter for the Minnesota team.
And it looks like Deo finally draws the foul.
That's a really smart foul. Stopping, he was coming in for a layup and burning that foul. That was a smart one.
No foul called on number 1, Adam Smith. That's his first, team first. Now, one of the things I saw too, Minnesota did such a good job in the first half of using their size advantage, getting their bigs inside.
Yeah.
Now, hasn't happened as often. Does happen that time, but Gravel unable to convert. Hornets coming down with a 4-point lead and the ball. Prep Division National Championship on the line. 2018 National Wheelchair Basketball Tournament.
Free throw jumper there.
He didn't even think about that. He's like, well, I'm sure he thought about it. He thought about it as he's dribbling around. He's like, this is going up. Preston Howell hits it.
Charlotte parents and they are freaking out.
6-point lead. 6-point lead for Charlotte. Coach Jordell says, hey, we need to talk about this. And timeout on the floor.
You know, yesterday I was commentating a junior game, and one thing that we kind of pointed out that I think, you know, can't be said enough is that one of the great things about the junior division is, you know, all these families are here, parents, grandparents, siblings, everybody. And obviously, you know, all these teams are competitive and want to win. But I also love seeing these families that are respectful of other teams and sportsmanship. And I think everybody wants these kids to have a good experience. And I always do like seeing that, just that camaraderie within these divisions, and see parents supporting kids from other teams as well.
You saw a lot of the kids last night at the junior division banquet. They're all hanging out together, creating friendships some of them which will last a lifetime.
Absolutely. You know, even me being here this weekend, I've been playing and been involved with this sport for years. I have people that I have seen that I've known for almost 20 years now.
Okay, so if you're Coach Jordell, what are you telling the Rollin Rowdies? We're down 6.
Man, I think they really, you know, number 10, Dayo, he's a strong shooter. I think they're wanting to get the ball in his hands. I think defensively, really focusing on getting the ball out of Preston Howell's hands.
Pettit got the ball inside. Shot was off. And look who comes up with the rebound. Mr. Howell. Bringing it down.
Oh.
Once again, had Absher open. She's saying,
yeah.
Again, that's if I have one critique where Howell could get better, it's just keeping his head up.
Keeping his head up, absolutely. Seeing the court a little bit.
And he'll tell me, go sit down and be quiet. You're old. Stay on the bench. I'm going to make this shot right here.
Yeah.
Charlotte with an 8-point lead.
Yeah, and he started out the game, you know, his shot was a little bit off. He had, you know, he took a couple and kept, you know, wasn't quite hitting, but man alive, he got out of that. He's really been shooting into the lights out since
Dayo
then.
tries to answer, does not. And Howell had the rebound.
Minnesota sending up somebody to shut down Preston. I think that's smart. I think that's what they need to do.
Howell came down with that rebound. I'm going to start calling him Russell Westbrook. He's had a few assists, lots of points, several rebounds. Now he stopped though. I think that's it. If I'm Coach Jordell, I got to tell the guys, you got to stop. Even if you have to double Howell, get the ball out of his hands.
I agree. Make Charlotte's other players hit those buckets.
Shot was long. Covington with the rebound. Minnesota going down 8. .250 left here, fourth quarter action. Minnesota down 8. They need some buckets and need them in a hurry, and that's not going to help. Errant pass. Rodriguez with the steal.
And you know, this is one of those situations where not having the shot clock can really come to Charlotte's advantage. You know, they can slow it down a little bit, take a little bit more time in order to try and hang on to their lead.
And I said, you know, Howell's not the guy that you want to foul, but when he's got the ball 90% of the time in his hands, it's hard to foul somebody else.
Right.
He will dribble around. Once again, Absher was open. They finally get his chair stopped. The pass does get over to Adam Smith. Adam Smith will get into Benton.
Oh, that was a great little pick and roll. Missed the shot, but
nice. Yeah, like I said, nice pick and roll. Benton not able to convert. Minnesota bringing it down. That's Dayo. Looking to work something with this squad. Under 2 minutes to play here. National Championship game prep division. Coach Jordell telling his guys, hey, we need to move. Shot goes up. Shot goes in. Nick Dayo.
Great shot.
Dayo brings it back to within 6. Just a little over a minute to go. A little over a minute to go. Do you foul at this point now?
We'll see what they're going to do. Again, it looks like they're sending up some pressure to force Preston to get rid of the ball.
And they get a loose ball. Can't quite get the save.
Oh, goodness, so close. Went out of bounds.
They got the turnover they're looking for and couldn't quite get the ball control before it rolled out of bounds.
I think number 5 for Minnesota, I think he was trying to get the ball and just couldn't quite save it from going out of bounds.
I think we got a Charlotte calls timeout to get things together.
Again, right now, if they are smart, yeah, taking their time, try to hang on to this lead.
1:10 left to go here. Now, again, go through each huddle here. If you're Charlotte and Coach Godsey, he said we're up 6, minute 10 left. What are you telling your team?
I tell them slow it down. Again, especially since there's no shot clock right now. If they can just run the clock down a little bit to really hang on to that lead, if you get a wide open shot, take it. But otherwise, I really would tell my team to just kind of hold on to the ball.
And Coach Jordell for Minnesota, what do you say?
Probably, the last couple of possessions, they've been really trying to force the ball out of Preston's hands and forcing the rest of the other team to get it. I think that's what they got to do, get the ball out of Preston Howell's hands. And they're going to want to, again, with no shot clock, they're going to want to play aggressively, defensively right now to try and get a hold of the ball again because they got to get some buckets.
And I think Godsey's message might have been, get the ball in Preston's hands.
Yeah.
And again, since you can't press.
Correct.
Right, smart.
So
Preston right now going back court.
Yep,
There's nothing they can do to keep it out of his hands.
Preston in the back court.
It is out of his hands. It goes to Rodriguez, and that's the steal that Minnesota was looking for. 1 minute to go here. Minnesota got the steal they were looking for.
They can look to get a good bucket.
But now what happens? Can Minnesota capitalize?
Sending Charlotte up. I think that's smart.
Gravel gets it into Covington. He's tipped out. Deo's going to try to track it down. And he can't quite get there. No over and back call. Must have been touched.
Good hustle by Minnesota there to get that ball.
Running out of time.
Minnesota called a timeout now. Let's see what they're going to do.
Down 6.
My guess is they're probably, I don't know if they have any three-point shooters on their team, but if they do, this might be the time to look to that.
6-point lead, just over 30 seconds to go. I think Charlotte, you can see some of the players, I think they're feeling it. I think they can sense that they're about to win the prep championship.
Absolutely.
And on the other end, I think the pressure is mounting on the Minnesota guys. There's, again, the emotional levels you hate. That's the only part you hate to see either of these kids lose. They've all fought so hard, and they've enjoyed themselves so much. You hate to see a loser come out, but in the end, there can only be one champion.
And it's a really cool opportunity for many of these kids. For a lot of these kids, it's probably the first time they've had a chance to play for a championship. Maybe it's the first time they'll win a championship. That's a great experience for these athletes to have.
Looking across the way, I see a lot of the people in the purple and teal with big smiles on their faces. They can sense it.
They're ready. When this buzzer goes off and this game ends, I think we are going to hear a lot of noise in this gym.
And on the opposite, you can also see the Minnesota fans also feeling the pressure for their kids.
Yeah, you can see the difference.
Dale, let's fly. Short.
They went for the 3.
Went for it early. And I can tell
you hear Charlotte's bench yelling, slow it down. Again, they want to hang on to that lead. And Minnesota's sending their kids up. The second they cross over half court, they're trying to get a stop, trying to get a steal.
They're trying to get the foul. No foul called. They're just trying to take the ball, trying to get the 5 seconds. 5-second call, he dribbles. Preston not going to give the ball up to anybody. He's like, there was a turnover last time. You're not getting the ball out of my hands.
It was good.
And that's
Preston
a foul on
hanging
David
the ball.
Pettit.
That was great.
Team 5th. I think the writing's on the wall here. Goes back. I think he can dribble out the clock and dribble their way to a national champion.
Right.
Charlotte Rollin Hornets are your 2018 Prep Division national champions. And again, you see some of the
exciting to see these kids celebrate their win.
And you see the varsity Charlotte players out here, the first ones to come out and congratulate them.
Yeah, some of the varsity players running out and now the parents are flooding the court. Oh, that's so awesome.
All right.
Again,
This is
Charlotte has such a big presence here. All the families and players and
This is as close as we get to rushing the court.
and you know, Minnesota has no reason to hang their heads low. They played a great game. They should be very proud of their second place finish.
You can see some tears of sadness, some tears of joys out here.
It's tough to lose
I'd be
a
lying
game.
if I said I wasn't well enough.
It's tough to lose a championship game, but I hope that their coach sends the message that they should be proud of what they did.
I want to thank everyone for joining us here for the championship game. The webcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Your Prep Division 2018 National Champions, the Charlotte Rollin Hornets purple team. We'll cut off the microphones, but let you enjoy the awards presentations here. Emily, I want to thank you for joining me.
Yeah, it was great, Curtis. Happy to do it.
And like I said, we'll let you enjoy the awards presentation. We'll be back with the Varsity Division National Champions. And we have the Atlanta Hawks versus the Houston TIR Hot Wheels. We'll be back after a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, please director against the court three. We'll be starting our 2018 NWBC Award ceremony for the Junior Prep Division. The 2018 NWBC presented by ABC Medical. Proud to announce our first and second place teams in the Junior Prep Division. The award will be presented by Commissioner Mike Ballard, NWC President Sarah Castle, and Chris Rackett. Your 2018 NWBC Junior Prep second place team, the Minnesota Rolling Rowdies. Number 0, Allie Tyler. Number 5, Nick Mansfield. Number 10, Nick Zale. Number 12, Mackenzie Ross. Number 22, Ace Rabble. Number 35, David Pitt. Number 42, Michael Allen. And number 52, Ben Cunningham. And so J.J. Gordell. For 2018 second place team, the Minnesota Rollin Rowdies. And now for your 2018 NWBC Junior Prep Division champions, the Charlotte Rollin Hornets. Number 1, Adam Smith. Number 3, Landon Vincent. Number 14, Sadie Astor. Number 23, Preston Howell. Number 30, Anna Donahue. Number 35, Julian Rodriguez. And number 44, Liam O'Reilly. We also want to thank the Gillies Station Sports, Tim Fox and Bruce Bismarck for their assistance. Let's get it for your head coach, Mike Godsey. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 NWBC Junior Prep National Championship Trophy goes to the Charlotte Rollin Hornets. championship MVP. Let's hear it. For number 23, Preston Howell. Now for your 2018 NWPC Female All-Tournament Award. From the Charlotte Hornets, Sadie Absher. From the Bennett Blazers, Lexi Heitman. From the Lakeshore Sharks, Mary McClendon. From the Minnesota Rollin Rowdies, Allie Tyler. From the RHI Junior Racers, Ashlyn Bolden. And now your 2018 NWPC second All-Tournament team. From the Lakeshore Sharks, Jakira Daniel. From the Minnesota Rollin Rowdies, Jack Mansfield. From the Cincinnati Dragons, Ashton Taylor. From the Blaze Sports Junior Hawks, Zach Armas. And from the Nebraska Red Dogs, Landon Cruz. And now your 2018 NWPC First Team All-Tournament. From the Minnesota Rollin Rowdies, Nick Dale. From the Oklahoma City Wheels of Thunder, Malachi Hector. From the Fairfax Falcons, Kenneth Ali. From the Bennett Blazers, James Pollard. From the Lakeshore Sharks, Seth Horn. Shore Sharks, JJ Fields. And their junior, Brett.
Come on, KJ, we want a picture.
Valuable player of the 2018 NWA is the reading out. Number 23 from the Charlotte Rollin Hornets, Preston